digest this, and then we're going to talk about it. So take 3 minutes.
Anybody else have?
Silence.
Thank you. Can you read this for me?
Yeah, it's kind of hard to.
I've got it,
Tell me it's not my eyes. 'Cause I'm
Can't
doing
find
that.
it. Can't see that.
He's gonna explain it to me. Can't see it.
You can't really.
It's just blurry down here.
Like the
Just at
white,
least.
the small white print is hard to read.
Well, it starts at 7 a.m. on number 2,
Yeah, that's all right.
and the other one starts at 9 a.m. Graph 1, and then graph 3 starts at 5 minutes and 1,000 people, and then graph 4 starts as contacts on persistence. That first. Yeah. All right. So I'll try to get everybody a cleaner copy. See if we can get the digital version sent to everybody in the class, because we do have a digital version that you can read on your notebook or your iPad. So it's definitely, if you look at graph 1, best days to make contact to consumers, you can see that's Wednesday and Thursdays are better than Monday, Tuesdays, and Fridays. See that on the first graph, graph number 1, right? And it's a pretty substantial number. On the graph to the right, you can see there's a 49% difference. So you're more productive calling people on Wednesdays and Thursdays versus Monday, Tuesdays, and Fridays, right? All right. Then graph 2 is the best times to make contact. So now you go with Wednesday and Thursday, and the sweet spot is, believe it or not, between 8 a.m. and 9 a.m. Earlier, the better. So now you have the 2 dates, Wednesday, Thursday, and then from 8 to 9 a.m. And then, look at that, that's 164% more productive. See the graph, the bar graph on the side, to the right? And then response time, this is crucial. Within 5, if somebody hits one of your websites, if you talk to them within 5 minutes, you have a 400% better chance to reel them in. It's huge, right? So if you honor that, that means to me you can work 4 times less hard, right? Just by being engaged. And then persistence does pay off. You can see see the graph on the top on number 4, persistence, that when you contact somebody at least 6 times, the ratio goes up substantially. And then average call attempts by reps, meaning that it descends as time goes on, right? So at the beginning it's higher, but you got to stay persistent. But I'll give you guys a better digital copy of this.
I'm curious about the persistence. So 6 times, does that mean you're trying to reach them and you call 6 times? Or
They need to
talk
hear from
them
you
6 times and you convert them to...
6 times and then the conversion goes
Okay.
up. But not as much. This descending scale, it says average call attempts by representatives, and see how it declines after. This one's really hard for me to read, and I can't even read the green one. So I'll put persistence on the side for right now.
But it's
'cause
6 times trying to reach them, like trying to make contact with them. Okay.
Yep.
Del, do you know by any chance, because this was done by the Harvard Business Review, did they give any background on what was researched? Were there certain industries, because we all know that sales calls in certain industries are different than maybe real estate sales calls versus East Coast versus West Coast, that kind of thing. Did they give any data as to, or is this is kind of shotgun to a number of?
Well, I wouldn't say it was, you're selling a service or a product, right? So a shotgun approach, all industries, it says. across many companies that responded to web-generated leads. There you go. So web-generated leads. So that would also be any digital marketing campaigns.
Gotcha.
And its mission was to maximize results. So now you guys got, that Wednesday, Thursday. Many of the results in this study based on the first call attempts indicating how to get the job done right the first time, right? So it's good. It's vital information, right? So notice they didn't do any study on the weekend. I would throw in Saturday as also a great day. Sometimes people are a little offended with Sunday, but but we do know that you got to constantly stir the pot, right? I told you guys about the call that I made at Tuesday's sales meeting, not this last one, but not this month, but the one in October, and the guy was on the treadmill. I did list that house, Chrissy, that you're sitting now. That was circle prospecting. That was a call that I made in front of all you guys, and we are up and running now on the list of 10 that you're going to get when you have a sell or meaning a listing or a buy where you can circle prospect. Chrissy, you and I have worked on that, and I think my third call that day, we did get an appointment that turned into a listing appointment. Yeah.
I just want to, something related to something for this and something that I have noticed. So once in a while, I sit around the corner in the Rounds area working when I'm in the office.
Yeah, does everybody know that we have drop space on my side of the building? We have 4 computers there. Does everybody know that? Yeah, it's the same drop space as the first come, first served communal area that I see you in a lot. We have one on my side, so if you guys want to ever come in and listen of what's rumbling in that sector, you can do it.
So, and that's exactly the point, is one of the things that I picked up from you is you keep people, because you're a loud talker, you can hear it throughout the area. You keep people engaged and you continually move the conversation along, and your conversations are pretty extensive in terms of length, and I think that fits perfectly with this in terms of, I think, at least for myself, even from having done new home sales for a long time, realizing that it's, have a dialogue conversation, keep practicing, and have more than just the script, and use some relevant information about what's happening in the market, etc. And that's, again, something that I've noticed a number of times when I'm sitting in that area. When you are on calls, you keep people engaged for a long time.
Yeah, so you gotta have the makeup of never giving up. Even when it looks dire, bleak, you gotta hang on and keep pushing in that direction, right? And then I think a good professional trait to always keep in mind, always be the one to end the conversation, right? So when you reach that point, just say, it was great talking to you, I'll follow up with you tomorrow, and end the conversation, right? So once you get the information you need, turn it into action and end the conversation. The reason why I like that is it puts you in a professional standard that I think is really important, and time is of the essence, and your time is important.
And position of strength.
It's a position of strength, yeah. Some power there, right? So, yeah.
Oh, I was just gonna, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Are you?
You didn't.
Okay. So also with the leading into the conversation, we're seeing that house open of yours that you talked about, and we had a neighbor come through, and a lot of times, neighbors come in and typically an open house, and you're like, oh, it's just a neighbor, just being nosy, seeing what the house is worth. Well, so we started talking to them, and they had just come in on their bicycles, they had their bicycle gear on, and they had the same floor plan, and they just wanted to get some ideas, and we just kept the conversation going and going and going and talking, and then by the end of the conversation, it led to, we want to update our house because we're thinking about listing it because we're from Canada, so we just kept the dialogue going instead of saying, oh yeah, just look through the house, you're the neighbor, don't worry about it. Anyway, we ended up closing up the open house, going to their house, sitting around, they invited us over, we sat around their kitchen for 45 minutes talking about what they wanted to do, and we're gonna do a listing presentation for them.
Yeah.
So.
It can, as long as you don't know why somebody walks in when they did, right? But if you keep those probes going, because they're gonna find out, what's the TV show, Love It or List It? right? So once they do the remodel, what do they want to do at that stage, right? So they get it where they like it, maybe they want to stay in a year and enjoy it, and then put it up for sale. But it's a great source of business. And you guys have done how many there now? How many open houses have you done there?
Oh gosh, 5 or 6.
Okay, so let's go with 6. How many leads do you have?
We probably for sure have 2 solid leads out of
How
there.
many total people have come in?
12.
12? All right.
No. We've had more than that. We've had probably, 20.
20.
Yeah.
So 6 open houses equals 20 prospects. And out of those 20 prospects, you still have 2 in the hopper, so you're turning about 10% to potential customers. And then once you get a commission, right? So let's say out of those first 20 or first 6, you can now go into business planning, which is part of today's segment, right? This is how you can work the numbers backwards. So if you did 6 open houses, 20 prospects, you got 2 still in the hopper that are engaged, and when one of those turns into dollars, right? You're sitting a house at $900,000, so the GCI, gross commission income on that, is going to be about $30K, which is rounded, right? So then you can say, okay, 6 open houses equals $30K. If you want to make 90 a year, how many open houses do you have to do? If you want to triple this, right? If 6 open houses equals 30 grand in commissions, 18, very good, 3 times. And that's where business planning comes in. That's why you got to know your numbers. Now, you might go on a streak. Is 6 a true sampling?
Not really.
No. 100 is a true sampling, right? So in 2019, keep track of where people are coming from, right? And then it can become duplicatable. I'll give you an example. When short sales were big. When short sales were big, I would do 10 short sale door knocks equals 1 listing. Then the cheese was moved, and I went, literally, this is a crazy number, 99 and 0. It was done. It was done. I did 99 door knocks. Actually, I got 1 out of that 99. She signed it, and the husband wouldn't. She signed all the short sale stuff, sat down with her. I knew she was married. She said the husband was on board. 0. So 99 to 0. Now, would you continue to do that? No. That's why you got to keep your numbers. You got to know. Because one day, like, okay, Chrissy, let's 20 prospects, 2 good ones that are kind of in the hopper out of 6 open houses is good. Okay, but let's say, right? Let's say this turns into 0, right? It means that might not be your cup of tea. You got to find out what it is so that you manage your time right. That's why business planning is important. You got to know your numbers up, down, sideways, and backwards. Circle prospecting is my nugget right now. It's huge for me. I am jamming in that area just by calling people and asking them those questions. So when you get these lists of Dexter, when you sell that house on 41st, right? It's pending now, right?
Yep.
Okay. Did you hit any of those neighbors yet?
Yes.
It's okay if you did or you didn't. I'm just,
No, the guy across the street with 2 people on each side.
right. Now you got a better story to tell because now, not only did you list it, now you sold it or it's pending, right?
Yep.
So you can give them some insights. The guy that bought it is the GM for General Motors, or he owns a window company, right? What does that guy do? He's got 2 kids, a dog named Toto, and you can start telling the story, right?
I
So
read
prospecting.
one thing that another from Brand X does is when he lists a property, he'll call the neighborhood and tell them that it's listed as blah, blah, blah. And I'll let you know what happens. So
Yes.
now he's got an open door when it sells. He'll say, hey, I just wanted to keep you updated. Like I said, that house on 41st Place is sold now.
Right.
And
And now I can really zero in on your value because I can take that price per square foot. I know exactly what that house had in it. Obviously, you know the location. Yours is a little bit better. I can probably tell you within 2% of the value of your home, can I come by tomorrow at 2? Right? And you always want to close for the appointment. Yeah.
I have a question. When you're calling the neighbors of your just listed, just sold do you put everything in your top producer or whatever you have, or do you only put people that you think is a lead? Or that you know it's a good number? What are you saving and how are you tracking it? Because we're coming into this.
So you're talking about, so my definition of a lead is gonna be different than yours. My definition of a lead is somebody that's gonna buy or sell in the next 60
So
days.
you don't put everyone in top producer that
No,
answers the
I
phone
don't.
and says, this is Bob.
I don't, but I would suggest you do.
Oh,
Yes,
because of the difference?
yes.
Okay.
Because your definition of lead is gonna be different than mine, right? So I suggest that you guys have a CRM, right? If you're comfortable with top producer, what are some of the other ones? Follow-up boss, what else?
Line desk.
Sync.
Sync, who said Lion Desk? Lion Desk? You like that one? Haven't heard of that one? So Lion Desk, but you gotta have a CR, what are you guys using?
I've been researching for a year. I mean, I've had Wise Agent forever.
Yeah,
They suck.
Well, you know, I only used it for certain things, but I want more
Agreed.
out of it.
Use something free for now, or very cheap, because next year Remax as a platform is gonna be rolling out their Boosh product, so, I mean.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so something that you can transfer over.
so all your contacts should be in Remax. Has everybody done that?
No,
Oh, yeah.
I didn't
You
even
should-
know they had a CRM.
Oh,
Yeah, you can upload my.
no, that's all right, that's all right. They have, on a scale of 0 to 10, I would rank their CRM a 7. I would rank, Sync has stuff that we hadn't even touched. I'd give Sync a 10, but extremely expensive. And then I like Follow-Up Boss, I think, yeah,
Sync does have a product now for like 2 or 3 users, so you can,
you can multitask with the team, right?
Does it
Yeah.
have an app
oh yeah.
that goes with it?
See, I was
Oh,
so
it's
curious
got-
about that.
I
It'll-
know, that's what I don't.
So Sync is so good on artificial intelligence, it'll rate somebody in your system that says, hey, you know, this person's hit your website 4 times in the last 20 minutes, call them, and you ping, 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 it'll keep bumping.
That's what I want. It's
like
so hard to
fire.
pick one though.
It is.
I've
I
been
agree.
researching and then there's so much.
There's so much out there.
Okay, so my suggestion to you is, pick it, you gotta go.
I know.
You guys just gotta.
Do you guys remember the days when there were about 5 or 6 major
Yeah.
cell carriers? And every meeting we'd come in, everybody's going, who's the best cell carrier? Who do you got? I got AT&T, I got Verizon, I got Century. And everybody, the thing is, you can ask that question to 20 different people and you're gonna get 20 different answers.
Absolutely.
Pick one.
The hard thing is, it's almost,
That's the
yeah.
best one.
I
But-
know, but I don't know what I'm gonna pick.
What was your partner using?
I feel your pain, trust me.
And then I go on, I do the demos, and then it's like, oh my god, this is so much, and
And
then.
the
It is
webinar's boring and,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's tough.
Yep.
That's tough to pick.
Bananas. What is your team using
Well,
now?
I'm like top producer, which I've had that before,
Yeah.
but I used Boomtown briefly when I was at another company, and it was awesome.
You guys have used Boomtown.
I love
So,
the CRM part of it, because it did exactly what you said about sync, like it tells you how, they've looked at this property 10 times, call them, or they've logged on to this, and it was, and they had an app, and it's super easy, but it's so expensive to know this is kind of late.
yeah, that it's the cost of doing business, and it's way more expensive of what you'll lose versus the cost of having it. You gotta have, and you start losing track of people. There's all kinds of things. So the way a CRM works today is it's always working when you're not, right? So we use 2 companies, Uncorked Media, and Spark, for all of our digital campaigns. I was out with some people. I went to the Fleetwood Mac concert last night. And got
How was it?
Oh. I'm kind of shaking a little bit. A lot of tequila. But the guy that I was with is a customer of mine, existing customer, and he says he sees our digital marketing everywhere on banner ads. But I pay in a combination of Sync, Spark, and Uncorked Media. Our team probably spends $3,000 a month at least, maybe even more.
It's not that much anymore.
Yeah, but a digital banners and that kind of stuff it's just expensive to do. But the upside of that is huge.
Recommendation there. And-
Yeah.
And don't like freaking attack me like a bunch of wild Indians. But when you're searching for your, because I've tried over the years 3 or 4 different CRMs. All my base systems are in Outlook. And everything always comes back to, we always default back, not that that's a great CRM system, we always default to Outlook because it's the one thing that keeps our database in sync. And so whenever we're trying a new CRM system, that'll take our Outlook database and then bam, you try Top Producer or whatever. So it's a very easy system. It's absolutely, we use a company called Ability Technologies, and they maintain multiple emails. So Colleen and I, you could have everybody on your team synced emails and all that stuff. So it has a lot of those capabilities. But I would say don't be afraid while you're looking, if you're not using something right now, to put your database in Outlook and use it as your base platform as you're looking for other stuff.
Well, Sync is costly, but it's designed for large teams, but the smaller version is Real Geeks. That's the single agent
Well,
version, which
they
is
have
about
the smaller one
250.
now.
Oh, and that's right.
They do
Yeah.
have the 2 and 3 person.
What does that run a
I
month?
think it's
What is
3
it?
something a
What's the name
month.
of it?
Real Geeks.
Well, Real Geeks is like $240 a month, and it includes a website with it too. And it takes a lot of the
Then you can
technology
use it.
from Sync, because it's the same.
Company.
Do you guys own Real Geeks too?
We do.
Yeah. The suite that I was in last night, you guys were right next door. It was kind of funny.
I
I'm
was at
sitting
Tony
there
Robbins stuff. That's-
drinking and
that's
watching the
where
concert, and
it's
Sharon taps me on the shoulder, and I'm like, what? And Karen Groban was there. Anyway, good time. Dump all your leads though in Remax. The advantage of that for you is that if your customer hits and doesn't register with you, they're assigned to you. If they hit a Remax website, it circles right back to you. Even if they hit the website, let's say they moved to Washington, it'll circle back to you. So you do want to put them all in there. We don't steal them. You're protected. Remax International doesn't. Everybody worries about protectionism of their database, but they don't look at any of that. All right, so any questions on, so right now you should be analyzing your 2018 production, right? Where you're at and then where you want to be next year. And you should assign every one of those lead sources from sphere of influence, open house, sign call, right? Sign calls are big conversions for me also. All those lead sources that are on the back of this page, right? You should make sure that you are 100% engaged on where everybody came from, right? And I would caution you that if your SOI, if you're getting over 50% of your leads from SOI, that's a good thing because it means you're taking care of people, but be cautious because you're not growing exponentially, meaning you don't know when that referral is going to come, right? But if you do know this, referrals are duplicatable to an extent, right? But not like this. This is mathematics. This is more solid. So you always want to be pushing that, not waiting for the phone to ring, right? You got to stir it up.
Well, if you only had 50 in your sphere,
Yeah.
that's probably not enough, so you have
No.
to. Well, I don't know.
So let's run with that. If you had 50 people in your sphere, from that sphere, you should get about 10 referrals. You should get about 20% of those.
So Dale, I have a question for,
Follow me on that?
uh,
Yeah.
and Colleen's asked me this question. I think it's a great question, especially for people who are new to the business, and that is, Colleen and I were having a conversation. She said, well, how did you build your initial database? Well, I got to tell you, now this was going back to 1984, but I remember when my first trainer said, you got to build a database, and you know what I did? I took the phone book, the Colorado Springs
yeah.
phone book,
Sure.
and I started at A,
Yep.
and I went to Z, and by the end of that whole process, which was about a 2 to 3 week process, I had like 400 people and probably 350 people I would have even never thought of. So what do you recommend as far as somebody going, Dell, I need to build my database, I know probably 1 million people, but how many times are you thinking about the 600 or 700 people that you know in Phoenix? What would you recommend to people who are new in the business to say, this is what I would do to start building that database?
So the first thing is go. You know, if you don't have everybody on an Excel spreadsheet or a holding tank now of your friends, start right out of your phone on A's, and then you want to take them. You want to call them, tell them I'm new in the business. Maybe not new. You want to use third generation. So as you know, I'm a third generation real estate, right? 50-year practitioner, 22-year, 30-year. How many years, Sam?
25.
25 years, right? So everybody probably already knows, but on a new person, start with the people that you know, and then you want to get their name, obviously, right? Are they married? So Jack and Jim, right? 123 Easy Street Drive, Phoenix, 85050, and then update your email address and their significant other's email address. Then you want to put them in the CRM. So start with the people that you know. So last week I discussed this. This is my database, and this is one change of one page of my contacts. Look at that.
Those are past customers?
The existing. I like existing customers.
Okay.
Because past has, because, no, I know. And so they're existing customers, right? These people refer to me, but look at all the changes in just one page. It's a lot, all these side notes. Some people do sell without me, right? The gut wrench. But I usually turn that like, well, can I help you out on your next one? And sometimes it's just somebody new that came into their life, their golf buddy or their boss's wife happens to be licensed now, or the boss's husband now is licensed now, right? So you just lose, and that's why you got to lead generate every day, because you want to grow that 50 SOI to 100. Now you're getting 20 referrals a day, but start with your SOI. Have that 10-second elevator speech that, third generation real estate agent. I've hung my license with RE/MAX Fine Properties. They do over $1 billion a year in sales. We have 4 locations. We have RE/MAX is the largest real estate company in the world. We have 122,000 sales associates, and we're in 123 or 124 countries, right? Once you plant those seeds, it's important to get them in that CRM. Then after that, where I would start, I don't mind cold calling or circle prospecting. Pull any RE/MAX sale, right, within the last year, and you wouldn't use the term that I sold it, but you would say RE/MAX sold it. RE/MAX sold the house at 123 Easy Street. They'll automatically connect you with that house whether you sold it or not, right? And you don't have, it could be another RE/MAX office, right? But there's tons of cells in there that you can circle prospect. So that would be phase 2, Frank, that I would go to. I would do circle prospecting on, we sold that house, RE/MAX, we sold that house at $220 a square foot. That put your house at $715. Have you done any recent updates? And circle prospect in that area. That's what I do for number 2. Because then it's a little bit warmer. But when I was in Coldwell Banker's Sweat Hogs program, when I started, they wouldn't let us touch expireds and cancels. You remember those days? Marge Lindsay.
Yeah.
I think she's still around.
She is.
She is. Yeah.
Who is she with now?
I have no idea.
She's still with, I don't know if she is now. I think she retired. She did.
Yeah, so Coldwell Banker used to have classes like this where you first join Coldwell Banker for like 21 days straight.
Fast start.
Fast start, yeah.
That's what they
We called, yeah.
They started Coldwell too.
Yeah, and we had to do like 100 calls per day. If you want a good tip for 2019, go to Mike Ferry's script and dialogue class. That's an investment that you would probably get 1,000% return on. But eat your Wheaties. It's freaking intense. And you'll come out of there on fucking fire. Who's done that?
come out in January in Vegas. That's a 3-day.
Yeah, I think there's that Superstar.
You start calling.
They,
And
they-
listen.
yeah,
Yeah.
they have like a phone room.
Yep.
I did it, they used to have, do you remember Jeff? He passed away, the Cape Creek guy, Jeff, anyway, they used to do it on the phone, and if you weren't on the conference call, like by, if we had a 10 a.m. deal, and you got on at 10:01, they hung up on you. I mean, they were just, it's like a major boot camp.
Hilarious.
But if you really want to get engaged, that's a good thing to do in 2019. R4, 2019 would be good. It's in March.
Yeah.
Great breakout sessions. We could have up to 3 RE/MAX Fine Property speakers that will be speaking at that. Up to 3.
You and who else?
Don and Bonnie have been invited. I don't know whether they'll get it or not, or even whether I will. I spoke last year at it. It was good. It was good.
So dude, going back to Fast Start, we get into classrooms like this and they get pizza. Now this is how, because I was 20, you gotta think about, I was 20 years old, and so I remember raising my hand during our cold calling sessions. I said, what happens if I call and they say, oh, I've already had my house listed with, Del Rounds at RE/MAX. And so our trainer said, well, just ask, oh, when did they get out of jail? So here I'm 20 years old, the first time it happened.
Did you really do it?
And he's sitting here, and I'm on the phone, and the guy says, oh, thank you very much for the call, but we're already listed. I said, oh, that's great, and who are you listed with? Well, we're listed with Dave Brown from so-and-so company. I said, oh, really? When did he get out of jail? And the guy goes, no!
I love it.
This is on video, so,
You should have never told me that.
So, and unfortunately, my trainer passed away about 10 years ago, but I heard that he was still at Coal Banker, and I heard for 25 years he told that story and used my name. And I'm like, oh, but I was so literal, I just was.
So this is crazy. For sell by owners, right? Do you remember Tom Chauncey? Right, Tom Chauncey, big developer here in town. He married one of the Wrigley girls, and he owned.
Bell Road.
Yep, he owned, very good, 56th Street and Bell Road. He had a big Arabian horse farm, right? The big pillars, right?
Yeah.
So that when I was required to call 100 people per day, I called Tom Chauncey. I didn't know who he was at the time, right? And Coldwell Banker used to have a speaker system, right? So when you had a call, they would say, Sam, line 3, Sam, and everybody would hear it, Sam, line 3, right? And so I left Tom Chauncey a message, and they said, Del Rounds, Tom Chauncey, line 3, and the whole fucking company stopped. And they all looked at me and said, who is this guy, right? Like, what is... And Tom Chauncey, he was a big-time guy here. Never did a deal with him, but he always called me back. He always called me back, and we had a connection. I went in his office
Very personable.
on Scottsdale Road a couple of times, and he had a life-size wooden carved statue of John Wayne in his office. So the guy was just amazing, but from those calls, I met a great guy, right? And so the world gets smaller. It's not 6 degrees of separation anymore. What was it?
4 degrees of separation.
4 degrees of separation, right? So fascinating stuff. Number 3. So friends, circle prospecting around RE/MAX. Number 3, neighbors. Guys, there is nothing worse than in 2019 of you driving home and seeing somebody else's sign of a neighbor that you chose not to tell them what you do. It is the worst. Because think about it. We come to work every day looking for people to sell, and there's one right under your nose. So all your neighbors, so in December, I get usually about 150 calendars back from people that are in my database that moved on. I'll take those calendars, write a quick cover sheet. Hey, it's Del Rounds again. I live on the street 4044. I'm your neighbor. Here's my calendar. If you know anybody buying or selling, I'd like to help. Right? So you got it. You got to hit all your neighbors. All your neighbors need to know what you do. I saw a good ad the other day from a Realty One girl. She posted on Facebook with her first real estate sign. So Danielle, you want to do that, right? So you want to get a personalized sign, right? And do a Facebook posting that says it's official. Third generation real estate agent, right? Give them a quick bio. I'm ready to go. And right, so you want to get that out digitally. Trying to think of other items, Frank. Going now, that's 3D. What would be a fourth?
So, what,
Sure.
all your social media contacts, I mean, it's absolutely amazing. I actually have an appointment this coming weekend with 2 senior managers from Yelp because they saw us on Instagram.
Yeah.
I mean, and that was their basis of making a call.
Yelp is a big one for realtors.
And we talked for 15, 20 minutes on the phone while her 1-year-old baby was in the background going gaga gaga. And, you know, I was asking, you know, their name, but it gets back to the first point what you brought up today is keep the conversation going.
Yeah, it's the new phone book. So kind of one of the reasons I brought that up is because a young up and coming, he's going to be phenomenal from Colorado Springs, is down here this week, and he took me out to lunch just to pick my brain. And he said that because he's only been doing it a year, that he only has 144 people in the CRM. And I said, how many friends do you have on Facebook? And he said 1,485. And I'm like,
There you go.
dude,
Yes.
seriously, it's the new phone book. And I said, yeah, and he said, but I interface with a lot of realtors. I said, yeah, but out of 1,485 friends, you might have 200 realtors in there. Get them out, go through. And I said, and he said, well, a lot of them are not Colorado Springs, they're out of state. And I go, referral business, milk box money. I mean, come on, guys. And I said, who that lives in California or Oregon do you not want to know you're in real estate? And he said, that's a great point. So I would say definitely don't be afraid to think outside of the state or outside of your city when you're putting your CRM together, or you're putting your data, your prospects together. I would say probably 80%, just because of the years I've been in it, 80% of my contacts are out of state, but they still call.
Right. So back to
So
CRM.
that's exactly what you're
There was about a year period where Darren, my partner, used Facebook as his CRM. All of his contacts were Facebook. So you can use Facebook as a contact management system, right? I mean, you can look anybody up. I don't know, but there's probably a platform for it in Notes somewhere where you can put somebody's email address and home address. The reason why you want the home address is because you could also set everybody up on an automatic portal in their subdivision. You know, so everybody always says, well, I'm going to take that person off the portal. I haven't heard from them. I say, why?
Yeah, it's,
Just let it go. It's free. It's free, right? Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's just like Zillow again now has the leads that are now unfettered again, so you're getting anybody who wants to look at a property. So they even recognize that the more points of contact that are potential, the better. When they were filtering leads is, you know, basically 2%.
Right.
You know, you had, you know, you were paying for them, but you had a higher, fewer possibilities. So, and if you can.
Oh, you did? Where is the sign-in sheet? I didn't mean to interrupt you.
And if you can convert more people into your database through the Zillow leads also, that's more opportunities. And, you know, a lot of it is just doing automated drip campaigns.
Absolutely. So all those platforms, Zillow, Trulia, Redfin also has a platform. Remax, CRM, all those. That's why you want to dump all those in there for the perfect system, so to speak, that your business is working, whether you're working or not, is fascinating, and it really is out there today in systems that just run. So now we're at digital marketing. What else for somebody that wants to get other lead ideas, right? Yes.
I haven't done it for years, but for probably 10 years, I always belonged to networking groups. I think they're great when you're new because you have to stand up and speak in front of everybody every time, once a week. And you just learn to have conversations about, how can I help you with your business? And this is how you can help me with mine. It's just good practice.
So that's a great subject. Anytime you get a chance to speak, take it. Anytime you get a chance to speak to anybody, Pop Warner, right? And all the moms and dads in here, where you're going to be the, I'm going to be the beverage guy, or I'm going to be the snack guy. Remember how they all rotate? I don't know how many have kids in this room, but become that person. By the way, what do you do? Because it always goes into, so groups and networking are huge. I belong to a book club. I belong to the men's golf league at the JW. I've been the secretary for Pinnacle High School track for over a decade. I used to keep stats for the football team back in the day. Now they do it all computerized. So groups are huge. So groups are big. What else?
Church, your schools.
Networking church.
Your-
That reminds me. Yeah.
Your professional contacts through
Other
your
businesses.
title company, where you can get invited to events. I'm getting so many new builder leads through the mortgage company, et cetera, where they're literally including me as part of their marketing to attract new builders who don't have their own sales team.
Yeah, so I call that trying to be influential.
Yep.
Right? So Christy, when you and I were calling, remember we got his voicemail that said, hey, this is Ben with the pool company. My whole script changed when I heard that. And I said, hey, we sold this house right around the corner from you, blah, 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 blah. And I said, and by the way, we have a concierge program for pool people. And he called us back within like 7 minutes, right? And left us a voicemail, right? So there's that old term that says you can't get what you want till you give somebody what they want, right? Love people, use money, right? So there's a great book out there that says if you want to be influential, just put other people to work, and then you'll get put to work, right? So anytime, Jen, you'll see an escrow that I just opened for you guys, right? That there's 4 counters putting Fidelity back in the deal.
Wow,
4 counters.
thank you.
And it's
Right now, the market's tightened up a lot,
Right.
and we appreciate everything.
Well, and the reason why I do that is because I'll one day hold you guys accountable for something.
Like, remember when I countered you 4 times?
Yeah, yeah, and this was a
It was Les's deal, and I did it for you.
It was a $3.3 million deal, and the competitor at Berkshire was pushing for First American, and I was pushing for Fidelity, and made it through the 4th counter with my title company involved. The reason why I do that is because if I need a favor, a robo-signing, I need the CCNRs now, I'm late, we're closing tomorrow, they never reviewed them, just crazy stuff, right? That just gets missed occasionally. So you always want to be your people involved in your agenda. Same thing with lending. Who's the lenders here today? Yeah, same thing with lending. Do you not think they get orphaned buyers?
Yeah.
Absolutely they do. Who's going to get those? The person that put them in the deal, right? So hold everybody accountable. Hold everybody accountable for leads and referrals. I have a roofer that gave me a deal. Jack the roofer.
That's funny.
Yeah, Jack the roofer. I have painters that have given me deals. They all add up.
We had a realtor in our office who used to do a Christmas party for vendors
Yeah, I've had
only.
2
Great
others.
idea.
And I'm telling you, roofer, Jack the roofer and,
Yeah.
the inspectors and all that. So
It was on my
basically,
house,
at her house,
I cared.
one night she did a party for all the vendors, and it pissed everybody else off, because everybody else is going, you know, we use you guys too, but you know what? They put a personal level, I know dang well that the inspector that probably did 4,000 inspections for me probably sent her the next deal, because she treated them like they were a customer, not that.
Absolutely, they
That was
have.
Such a smart move.
They have opportunities. You bet. When you sell a house, throw the housewarming party for your new buyer, right? Because they invite all the neighbors, and what are they gonna, they're gonna talk about how great you are. And you wanna cater it and bring the beer and wine or whatever you choose to bring, right? All right, if all, the two forecasts that I've heard was from the NAR and the Economist for Fidelity, and they both said that 2019 was gonna be a mirror of 2018. Did you see yesterday that they have now gone into maybe a freeze on interest rates?
Yes.
Did you,
Yeah.
and what did the market do?
Yeah.
600 points.
690.
Huge, right? So you wanna be talking to people about that, because, and the reason why is it had 7 months in a row of declining real estate sales. 7 months in a row, and last month was a big drop. I think it was around,
Especially new home sales were.
New home sales.
Lowest.
yeah,
Yeah.
And
Like- yeah, like it was dropping like 1%, 1.5%, and I'm like, that's nothing, that's
It
nothing.
went down like 8% in
Yeah,
October.
it was a big number, it was a big number.
So our resale's like 5%, I think it was.
Okay, it was a big number. Now here in Arizona specifically, because we didn't have the run up,
Right.
we're a little bit smoother sailing. It's gonna be, in my opinion, it's gonna be cities like Seattle, Denver, you know, some of those cities that had the double-digit run up are gonna probably get spanked in 2000.
You really have to talk about the affordability index for the valley, because we are, you know, there may be markets where it's slowing down, especially in California because of the price and where interest rates are at. But here, it's still so inexpensive to buy a home and.
Yep. It's still expensive. Expensive or
Inexpensive.
inexpensive?
Inexpensive,
Okay,
yeah.
all right. So affordability index, does everybody know what that is? Okay, I'll just give you the term. It's a family of four of what they make, and then what percentage of that family of four with what their income is on house pricing. And I think our affordability index is still around 70% here in the valley. So that means 70% of the people, a family of four, can afford houses in Maricopa County. In some cities, it gets down to 50% because they make 100, but a house might be 700, right? It's an affordability index. So we talk about that a lot. Our economists talk about it a lot. Yeah.
I have another off-topic question.
Yeah.
What would you say is expenses, to talk about numbers, but on the expenses side? Would you say there's a percentage that you should keep your expenses under, a percentage of your business? If you know you made this amount, you should have your expenses, what, at
Oh, for advertising?
20%,
The marketing budget.
all of your expenses? Not meals and entertainment, I mean like the
Yeah, overall.
advertising, the true cost of doing business.
I would keep it around 30%. If your overhead is more than 30%, it's a lot. So I would say that by the time I pay Corrine, Emily, and all my advertising, so I probably put about $300,000. So mine's currently running around 30%,
Is that
$300,000.
advertising and marketing, or is that also?
All in,
That's everything?
total overhead, office bill, everything.
Yeah.
About 30%. That would be my opinion. I haven't been asked that in a long time. I haven't been asked that subject in a long time, but I would say mine's running around 30%.
Very accurate.
Oh, good.
Yeah, but I think especially when you're new, you have to use so many of the free resources that are available. Because, and then, and look at, secondarily, look at your return on what you're advertising. So for example, if you're doing an AdWorks and you know, you still might only get 2 or 3% click-through rates, and you have to go, did I get a sale out of it, or did that just cost me $1,500 for a zip code for, you know, 3 months and you don't get a sale out of anything? Yeah, you get some name recognition out there and stuff like that, but you have to look at what return you're getting on the dollars that you spend and use the free stuff that is available.
Yeah, and that circle prospecting is all free. I mean, it's a great gig. Christine, what I would try to with your group, keep everything variable if you can versus fixed, right? So I got a lot of fixed overhead on my team. That means if I don't sell anything, I'm paying it anyway, right? Any relationship that is variable, I love. Like I would love to pay Corrine a percentage. I would love to pay Emily a percentage. I would always do percentages versus fixed because it's a win-win. And the oars are all going in the same direction all the time. So if you could ever get an office manager and they would agree to a percentage, always take that over fixed. Because that means you do well, they do well. You do bad, they do bad. You're all rowing in the same direction because you do get that mentality of, oh, I'm getting paid anyway. Well, no, you're getting paid when I get paid. All the rows, everything's flowing in the same direction.
Dale, don't you think that varies a lot? Because the one thing that the people who are starting in today's market have a benefit of that we didn't have. When Dell and I back in the day started, print advertising, you had to do it. And it was expensive.
Yeah. Remember
And
classified ads?
Yes.
classified ads, we were doing newspaper.
Yeah.
Just
Magazine.
all the way up until 5 years ago, my company in Colorado, our newspaper bill just corporately was $250,000 a year because we had to do it.
Yeah, I remember.
Because your what do they call it? Your by absence, your damn it, what's the word I'm looking at?
Out of sight, out of mind?
No, yeah, people are
Brand visibility.
it's basically brand visibility. And people don't have to do that anymore. And I will tell you, because I think one of the biggest benefits to me before I was down here is I was a buyer. So be a realtor and become a buyer in another market, it's very, very interesting. But the one thing I can tell you, all the realtors that I knew before I moved down here were because of print advertising, not because of the internet. So I still don't think you can, you should completely release that out of your marketing budget, but it's just not as prevalent as it was
Right.
when, even 10 years ago.
So let's talk about that because there's even digital platforms that sing to the target market, right? So Instagram would be millennials. Snapchat would probably be, what's the next one under millennials? It's, no, XGen is up.
Yeah, actually, if you Snapchat's not as, I would stick to Instagram, Facebook, and Yelp, and Google AdWords.
So my daughter sent me a Snapchat the other day. It was freaking funny. She just worked a 12-hour shift at the hospital. She's doing her out-of-state rotations for med school, and she goes, "They just released me." So Snapchat. Who's on Snapchat? Okay, all right. So you tell it's a combination of a picture and a story, right?
Right.
So she goes, "They just released me from the hospital." And then you hear a door slam open and steps going down, and then out the exit door. So she goes, "They just released me from the hospital. I'm getting out of here before they give me something else." Bang. And we thought it was funny. So a quick Snapchat might be, "Hey, just took this listing," and you putting the sign up and say, "Yay!" And then bang, right? But if you're going after millennials, Snapchat, you have to go almost all in on that. So Facebook now has become kind of the 40 and up crowd. The 40 and under is not, they're gone. They've moved past that. So in the Certified Residential Specialist, I'll send you guys that article. Can you mark this? Send article of the Times digitally, and CRS. I'll send you the platforms that they suggest digitally for the age group that you're trying to target. And it does say that you really don't want to be in all four of those. Really pick what's best for you and run with it. So like I might, Patrick, so when I read this article, I thought about putting Gabe on our Snapchat platform for the Rounds Tucker Tackett team. Because I don't really, it's hard for me to manage Snapchat.
I don't like it.
I don't like
Makes no
it.
sense to
He's
me,
got
and I
to go.
sound,
Can't
my
stand
kids
it.
think I'm so old because I'm like, I
Same.
still get Snapchat.
My daughter only communicates with me through Snapchat.
Yep.
I can't stand it.
Yeah, and it's hard to set up
Uh-huh.
too. It's not user friendly.
Well, it's nice because you can track who looks at everything
Yes.
that you're doing.
And if they take a screenshot, you can.
Yeah, you can see if they screenshot you, you can see if they see it.
Right now, if they screenshot it, that means they copied it, and that's kind of frowned upon, right?
Well, it's kind of like creepy.
It's like,
I've done some,
Because it's supposed to disappear after the second view or
Yes.
third.
Uh-huh. Well, you can set the timer for
now you
it.
can make it last longer.
and you can save your messages if you want.
Yeah.
Because
But-
sometimes I
Yeah,
forget
you
what
can
people
save
said to me. If I
Exactly,
save
you're
the
like, what did you
message.
say?
But I'm gonna pick on Frank because big Facebook, right? But you're probably not doing very many other platforms outside of Facebook, or no?
I'm not, and Instagram is the only other one that I'm interested in doing. But, I mean, this will be the third year in a row that I've figured it out, I've made over 6 figures, not just here, obviously, but off of Facebook alone.
What about
So-
Matthew? Who's?
Generation.
I'm not gonna. Who's the
Gen
youngest
Z.
one? Who's the youngest one
Gen
in?
Z, that's it.
What is it?
Generation Z, sorry, I was looking up your
Yeah,
question.
Generation
The
Z.
millennial.
Is the one younger than millennials?
Yeah.
And how old are they?
It's.
8.
They care about else anyway.
Born in the mid-90s to early 2000s. So.
All right, I'm going to try to pick on the youngest one in here. I think I've narrowed it down to you're mid-30s, right?
33.
I'm 27.
27. All right. What are you using?
I use it all social media, Instagram, Snapchat.
So you're using all
I
platforms.
don't really get on Facebook. I do for my business stuff. But yeah, it's mostly.
And how old? You said 27.
27.
So 27, you're out of Facebook.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
So there you
not
go.
really.
And do you own a house?
I don't currently own a home.
Okay.
Mhm.
So there you go. There's a consumer 27 out of Facebook.
My daughter doesn't do much Facebook.
Yeah. So I would say, so one of the nice features of my team is I am the oldest no, Terry Stewart's the oldest, so I'd scratch that, but I'd say Terry. Yeah. So it goes Terry, then me, right? And then we have Gabe, my nephew, that is probably like 28. 28. So you do, in my opinion, you try to hire the opposite of you, right? Like I know I'm a scatterbrain, so I try to hire people that dot the I's and cross the T's so they can clean me up, right? I would never, and my wife always reminds me of this, and Patrick, you gotta be aware of this because you're managing people. Once you get the study of you would never work for you, right? So you want people like you because you're always moving the ball, but you would never work for you. So it's an interesting concept because like when I have to take a sign call Saturday, right? And this guy wants to see this house in 15 minutes and I can't get any of my team on the phone to show a house on a good lead, right? And I go, well, why can't they be me? Well, you don't want you, right? You would never work for you. Could you imagine working with yourself?
Yeah, I can.
Yeah, no.
I don't know if I agree with that statement.
No, you guys would kill each other.
Well,
You would eventually,
but don't you want to be around people that are committed to the craft and that you like?
absolutely,
Right,
but
so
you would,
a lot of people are not committed to the craft.
yes, but you want them committed to the craft, but if they want to be, here's another concept of you not working for you, they're gonna leave you. Because you want to be at a certain level and they do too, right? And it's hard to coexist.
That's true.
Right. So when you start talking about partnerships, I don't believe in real estate partnerships at all. Keep it on a referral basis or lead to lead basis, always,
Don't
right?
you have a real estate partner?
Used loosely, I call them a partner, but they don't pay the overhead that I do. That's all on me, and they give me a percentage of everything they do.
Gotcha.
And that percentage varies on who nailed the lead. So it can go as, on my team, it can go as little as 13%, all the way up to 50%, depending on who anchored the lead. Because we all know that, and this will never change, the number one ingredient to success in real estate is
Prospect.
prospecting, lead generation, lead follow-up, negotiating, presenting, that's it. What time is it?
11:05.
Don't can I make one quick recommendation too, before we get off the social media thing? I think it would be great if Dallas is excellent at social media.
Yeah.
And when I did my social media presentation here in business development, she had some amazing things about Instagram, and it seemed to me like a lot of people didn't know about that. I would love to have her maybe give you a week off, and I think she'd be
Great.
dynamite.
Do you guys want to hear Dallas a week from today?
Sure.
So let's mark that. Let's
Talk
ask.
about
everybody.
Instagrams, I
Yeah.
think she could provide a
I
lot.
also have an instructor on Instagram that like just hasn't booked anything yet because it's been so crazy.
And there's webinars.
We're gonna do
Yeah.
a class here.
But I'd rather have it somebody
In-house.
in-house in our own company, because I think that, and then we
Great
follow
idea,
up
Frank.
with
All
that.
right, so 1 week from today, let's see if we can get Dallas in this room, Matthew, teaching that. Because, so the month of December, we can still carry these on, it just won't be with me. So I take the month of December to kind of celebrate my year. So this is the last business planning session for 2018 for me. But we'll send out a notice for, you give me a big smile. Are you laughing? Yeah.
One to bring up, if anyone, we have, it's called TE Total Expert, it's a CRM, and it's free to all of our agents. So if anyone is interested and doesn't have one and would like to learn more about it, I'd love to do a one-on-one with
There
you
you go,
and show you the CRM. And if you ever, go to something else or whatever, I mean, you can take it and it's yours, it's not ours, so it's all you. So,
What does TE
it's
stand for?
called Total
Total
Expert.
expert. It's pretty
Okay,
easy
and
to
you're-
use,
He
too.
signed up with it with me and he's on.
And what's, you're lending, right?
Lending, but you can do drip campaigns, you can set up like mine, every time you close on something, your home, I mean, you can set up so many things. We do all lead generators, or if he gets a lead, it comes into him and me, so we both can call, so it's really neat, really neat. Tons of
Automatically, if
marketing
I get a
stuff,
lead, it goes to her too.
automatic.
Oh, so you
much
have,
stuff.
I like systems like that because A, you're all rowing in the same direction. So if the TE system, if you miss the lead, hopefully you'll pick it up and generate it back.
Well, at least I'll email him, hey, did you see this? Or, when she gets a new listing, it'll say, so-and-so got a new listing, so then I can follow up, say, hey, I see you got a new listing, you wanna do an open house? So it's just really, it's really good, yeah. So we're super excited about it. Our owners and our marketing department really teamed up with them on getting, and we're just doing lots and lots of changes to it, so it's been really good.
All right.
So free,
No,
Scott.
free.
Going back to Facebook, I'm probably older than you are. So I have a group of about 15 friends from my high school that we got together about 2 months ago. And I was the only guy on Facebook,
Wow.
Oh,
nobody else.
and do you mind sharing your age?
Your age?
I'm 60.
Yeah, okay.
So, I mean,
You're just a puppy.
one guy was, a vice president of Marriott, and he said, I'm not gonna get on that.
So
Another guy's an attorney, and
Yeah,
he said,
there you go.
absolutely not gonna do it.
So for that target market, you're back to print.
So Scott, don't you think that has a lot to do with I think the one thing I love about the real estate business, this is a business that keeps you young.
Oh, yeah.
And I love that. I mean, that's why, I hate listening to some old farters going, oh, we don't do that now, like that kind of thing. I love listening to a 21-year-old dude coming into me and asking me for advice, because I'm probably gonna get more out of that guy than he gets out of me.
Right.
But that's a perfect
It might be
example
the-
of being
The friends I have.
and the type of business
that
that
they were all, like, one guy's a psychiatrist. I mean, he says, absolutely, I'm not gonna get on Facebook.
I can see that.
You
It's
know,
not
it's kinda
his,
crazy.
that's not his flow.
All right, so wrapping things up, you got an appointment with Greg back at the office, all right, so go see Greg. Carolee, I'm gonna visit with you, and then Christy, did you and I have something set up after, what are we doing?
Just
Door knocking and
talking.
Prescott.
I think we're just catching up after
Okay.
being gone for 2 weeks.
All right, deal, so let me visit with Carolee.
That's fine.
And then anybody else need me for anything?
Have a nice month off.
Yeah, it won't really be off. So we're wrapping up here's what we, so we're doing the holiday party 1 week from tomorrow, right? Yeah.
For tomorrow, yes.
Did everybody have their masks?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a mask parade.
It's a mess.
Yeah, it'd be kind of fun. You don't have to. So we're wrapping up our, we've got the holiday party, and all of our leases expire December 31st, 2019. So I got, new Remax agreements, 5 years, new lease agreements.
I
all
thought
that
you were
kind of
gonna
stuff.
retire, you said one night. You know, when, before I left, he said, 5 years, Dexter, I'm out of
Yeah.
here.
This is a business you can't get out of.
Why?
So the problem with like merging and acquiring other RE/MAX franchises is they have a hard time monetizing me. They don't know what the business looks like with, so it's a shit show. You can't sell a real estate company. You could probably give one away. You know?
You wanna give it,
So my strategy, Scott, I'm in here, right, I see no sunset today for me anyway, right? So everybody talks about exit strategies, right? This is a good business plan. Look at people that are 65 that have a big book of business. Who was the Coldwell Banker agent that did a lot of horse properties?
But she's not at that one anymore. She's still working.
Pam Stubbs?
Pam Stubbs.
But
Right,
she's
still working.
She's still working.
Yeah, but not like she was. So I've been having dialogue with Pam Stubbs. That's it, for about 7 years about what's her exit strategy, right? Because I knew eventually she would. The other one is Joan Levinson.
Right, yeah.
What's her exit strategy, right? So you guys in this room that are going to continue to move the ball for another 10 years, talk to older agents about their exit strategy, bring them on their team now. They have a master list, right, of maybe 200 names. Sign a referral agreement for a decade,
Right.
descending. First year, I'm going to give you 50%, maybe first 2 years, 50% of anybody on this list. Second year, 40, whatever it is, right? Descending all the way down to 0, and then they're out of the picture over a decade. So they get the residual income, you get a book of business. Right.
And guys that are like 65 and over, they don't know anything.
Right, I've been talking to Gene Palmer.
Well,
same subject matter.
Right, just talked to him the other day.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Such a good guy.
he is a good, yeah, because we saw each other at the Cave Creek tour.
Yeah, that's where I saw him too,
Yeah,
yeah.
Too
Yeah.
bad Christine's gone, because that's what she's doing with the Lean Cats.
yes.
And Christine's rocking it based on that. And I gotta tell you a funny story, because when I left Colorado Springs, I got offered $250,000 for my book of business. Well,
One-time fee.
one-time fee. I give up all my database and support. If anything comes to me, it goes back.
Cash today.
Cash today.
It's hard to turn that down.
Hard to turn that down. I did. And in 3.5 years, I've probably made at least $450.
Wow.
In the 3 years from Colorado. Be careful about selling a book of business, because if you keep that alive, your referral business
You can build on that.
builds. I mean, I got, earlier in the year, I got a $18,000 referral check. How many of those will lead up to that 250 very fast? So exactly, I mean, when I heard that number, I was like, wow, that would be a great start for me down in Scottsdale and stuff like that. And
Just go to the
then my
nursing
business
home.
coach said,
Everybody has a-
think about how many referrals you have to, how many deals do you have to do to make $250,000? I'm like, shit, not that many. I mean, we still have to keep that database
Yeah.
alive. But that's what's interesting, and I think that's why so many people think that there's big money in brokerages, and there's not. I always,
you know there's
I always
not.
said the Finelli team can afford my lifestyle. The Platinum Group cannot afford my lifestyle.
Yeah.
And it's because generally brokerage firms are not high profit deals.
No.
So
I can
if
tell
Dale's
you-
driving a new car, it's not because of RE/MAX International.
I don't know how another RE/MAX owner that only does brokerages, like brokering deals,
Yeah.
makes it. And that's one of the things that led to Dave Messner's ultimate demise, is he was putting the gas on the brokerage and not out there moving the ball in business. So in selling houses. So if you guys look at a bar graph on my income, doing deals outside, right? Brokerage. It's not even near.
Not even close.
No, but it's great, because I like this. All you guys are amazing. The stories, the philanthropy, the interaction. I love it.
So isn't that an unsustainable model?
No.
Brokerage,
Why not? Because
brokerage
you have-
in general.
Yeah.
Brokerage in general doesn't have to be, but it gets leaner and leaner every year.
So isn't that the reason why we start to see a lot of transactional brokerages and disruptors in the business?
Yeah, like iBuyers.
Uh-huh.
it'll be fascinating. I think that program is easy when you're doing this.
Right.
Yeah.
When you're doing this, I think their shit
Yeah.
starts to really fall. And then when you do that, they're done.
There's an
But
open
I think
door.
Because you're gonna have another, will we have another downturn?
Sure.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
They're saying 2020, right? So what do disruptors do in 2020?
Well, they have to evolve, or they're gonna be out.
Well,
Probably the latter.
there's
I
some,
mean,
there's an
Just
open
my
door.
personal opinion, it's
But
right
think
the
of it
latter.
just from this perspective, right? A lot of brokerages that have the old school model of doing business doesn't exist anymore because we have places like Remax, Realty One, HomeSmart. And it makes the model almost impossible to sustain the business. So there's gotta be something that goes on. And then plus we're giving all the keys away to Zillow and places like that.
Mhm. I think the individual counsel's gonna play a bigger role.
Agreed.
You know, I think the disruptors that we talk about are gonna be less and less and less influential, and they'll be gone at the hiccup. And then there will be one. There will be one. I mean, hopefully it won't be 2019, but don't give up on the relationships that you have in banking. Don't forget about the short sales and, you know, all of our homes are non-recourse here. Don't forget about those models. You will see them again. You're gonna definitely see a couple. I will probably be at the latter half of the next big downturn, but there will be one. Meaning on my career pattern.
Yeah.
On my career pattern.
And then the
So
industrial-
traditional brokerages will exist, but will continue to evolve, and it's exactly what Frank said. You know, I wasn't gonna continue to be on an 80-20 split with a perpetual Coldwell Banker system. There's no way.
Right.
It cost me $225,000 to leave Coldwell Banker, and I was probably giving them $150,000 a year. It was crazy, where I could have regurgitated some of that to my own assistant, processing system, digital marketing campaign, all that kind of stuff. So it's just gonna continue to get fascinating for brokerage management.
Premier agents on Zillow,
Yeah,
they're falling out of bed.
well, yeah, we had an agent in our office that was spending 15 grand a month
Oh, yeah,
on Zillow.
easy.
So
And last-
I would say, so for that $180,000, imagine what kind of a phone room you could have.
Even if you get it.
I'd just buy a Ferrari.
Yeah, and if you can get, if you can get a, yeah, if you can get
Redirect
a,
that shit.
if you can get a phone room going, guys, if you can get a phone room going on variable percentages, just say, hey man, you set up the appointment as a marketing manager for John Trischetti Group, right?
Can't rely on
And I'll give you 50% of the deal because I'll go in and close it, right? Or whatever that looks like to you, right?
And Dale, wouldn't you say that, so I've been through 2 major downturns in my career, and through those 2 major downturns were my biggest years ever, my biggest
Oh, it could be
periods ever.
huge.
So if you're serious about this business, you guys, we're the one industry.
You can
The
make it.
real
go
estate
down,
community is the one industry that if you are committed to this industry, that will benefit from a downturn.
It's crazy.
Yeah,
Because all we want really, it sounds kind of callous, right? But we don't really care what a house sells for, we just want it to sell.
Right.
And some of the sellers.
and so the sellers, yeah.
Yeah,
They just want it to sell too.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of, right? So we want units and volume, right? And we want a progressive capitalist market, right? We want free enterprise, we want free access. You know, you don't want to be told, well, you can't sell a $3 million house because you're not licensed in this zip code. We don't want that kind of stuff, right? We want, and that's where the National Association of Realtors is our voice, right? The largest lobbying group in the world, I believe. Definitely in this country, but I believe in the world. So you want them out there fighting for you. You know, this last tax law that went into place, we kind of dropped the ball a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, we weren't loud enough. That $1 million threshold, right? There's a couple of things that are in there that are holding our industry back a little bit. But at least we're still capital gain free, right? That never changed. Primary residence to the last 5 years, you're still good there. Second home write-offs went, I think, away.
Wait.
Yeah. So we weren't aggressive enough, but you know, legislation can throw some hiccups, but for right now, 2019 is going to be great, and you guys should keep your foot on the gas pedal and make a lot of money.
I don't think there's gonna be many interest rate increases.
No, they came out and said that they're kind of, I think, did they use the word, unless something really freezes?
One,
One?
you see how one was what I heard.
Okay. And the market went
One
bananas.
interesting thing, Steve De La Viaga, my old boss, DVD, he's bringing back short sale escalations. Because we are anticipating probably by 2020.
Yes.
Yeah, and I'm not picking on Fidelity, but your escrows are down, I heard 19%.
They are, yes.
That's
We
big.
have really, really felt it. And, you know, when we're used to 100 orders a day, I mean.
No,
not
see, but
that
it's
much
nice
a
of you
day.
guys to share that, because some people would be embarrassed by that. However, you know that you guys haven't taken the eye off the ball. You just can't do anything unless we do something.
Right,
So you can't invent a market, you gotta wait for us to sell houses.
correct.
But I think what you have to continue to do is educate the consumer. So even with things like rising interest rates, maybe a buyer, you need to encourage to write a full offer on a house, and maybe you get the seller to contribute towards buying down the interest rate to make it affordable, because that saves money. So it's being creative, it's educating consumers where the market's at, and always being optimistic, because even during the recession, people bought new houses, people moved. There's always an opportunity. If there is gonna be a short sale market again, the number of investor buyers are gonna go up again. People always, it's like people, it's death and taxes and
You just
real
move,
estate.
you just move your cheese.
Okay, so.
Move your cheese, that's
Hang
how-
on, Scott, I got something for you. All right, so on that listing on 41st,
Yeah.
any sign calls?
None.
No sign calls. So now your goal is, in that same neighborhood, you want to duplicate that listing in the next 30 days.
Oh, I think that'll be easy.
Okay,
There's some
so
expired
remember on listings, right? If you get a listing at 123 Easy Street, you should get 127 Easy Street, right? Because you should be the top candidate, right? And you should also get one good sign call. So remember, listings have legs, and you can't forget, getting that first sign up is huge. Your goal, next 30 days, is to get your sign up. Same, both of your goals. You need to get that first listing in the next 30 days. Time is of the essence. That first one's the hardest, because then everything falls into place.
I gotta go.
Okay, nice seeing you. Yeah, all right.